Hello and welcome. I'm the Theory Detective. In these lessons we'll uncover the mystery of music theory. Now that we've learned key signatures, scales, chords, and of course the notes themselves, let's start talking about how music actually looks so we can more easily play it and understand it. First off, every single line of music that you have will start out with a clef sign. In here, it's the treble clef we're using. But in other cases, it might be the bass clef or the C clef, any other kind of clef. Right here, treble clef, and it stays a treble clef, so for the next line of music, we have it again, and then finally down here for our third line of music. Next, we group music in measures. We read it from left to right. And so after a grouping of notes, let's say, here's a note, and here's another note, we have a measure line. That means that this measure is finished, this grouping of notes is finished, so we have another one. So this would be the first note, and then the second, and then we have a bar line, and we start again. So let's put another note here, and another note, and another note, and another note, and then another note. So we have bar line or measure line, a measure, a bar line or measure line, another measure of notes, bar line or measure line, and then another measure of notes, or a single note, if you will. Next, if you want a repeat sign, then you have two lines. I don't have enough room, but you have two lines, a thick line and a thin line. A thin line would be as thin as the regular bar line, and then two dots in the center. And that means go back to the start and play it a second time. So right here you would play, say, and you would go back to the start and play it a second time. And then, because you've already played it, you would continue on. So let's put some more notes up here. Another note, and another note. My red's dying. In this case, there's no sharps or flats because the key is in C major. But what if the key was not in C major? What if it was supposed to be in G major? Let's change this to G major. G major needs to have a sharp or an accidental. So instead of adding in a whole bunch of sharps places, we're just going to put a sharp at the very start, way up here. That would be our key signature. That means that all of the sharps, all of the F's in the piece will be sharped. So like here, F sharp, repeat sign, F sharp, and then we continue because we've already done the repeat. Let's continue on. Bum, ba, ba, dum. Now again, if we want to have another repeat, we would have to go back to the start and play it a second time. But I don't have a repeat here, I just have a regular bar line. So that means we continue on. So right here, whoops, let's put in the stems. We'll talk about notes and stems later. we have key signature right there, and we have to duplicate it here to make sure that people remember what key you're in. You're in G major. And then here again, we'll have to duplicate it one more time. So every single line will have a clef sign and a key signature. And then each of the measures will be designated by a bar line or measure line. Repeat sign is a thick line plus the bar line, the regular bar line and measure line, and 2 dots in the center. You can also have a repeat sign that's backwards. So I'll put that here. You can have it be the other way as well. And that would mean only go back to that repeat sign. So let's say you're playing along, and then you hit the repeat sign. You go back to the other repeat sign because it's reversed, and then you would play it a second time, and then continue on and continue on throughout the piece. This one doesn't have a repeat sign, so you would continue on. I'm going to give just a few more notes. And then because we're in the key of G major, we're going to end on the G. So let's try that. We're here, no repeat signs, we continue on. There's the F sharp. I don't like this note, so I'm going to change it. There we are. Let's play that one more time. Remember, all of the F's are sharped. There we are. Okay, and then at the end of the piece, we have a thick bar line and a thin bar line, or regular bar line, and that's what we call the double bar line, and that actually ends the piece. So again, we start out with the treble clef, or whatever clef we're using, and it has to be for every single line. We have a key signature, and that's also for every single line. And then we have measure lines, like here, here, and here, and they separate out the notes into measures. We have repeat signs, which mean go back to the start, or in this case, go back to the other repeat sign, since we have a repeat sign here. And then at the very end of the piece, we have the double bar line, which closes it out. Go ahead and take out the flashcards. On one of them, put a line going down, and put bar line or measure line, divides up the measures. A double bar line, one thick and one thin. Closes or ends the piece. And of course, one thick and one thin for a double bar line, but this time it has 2 dots on it, and this is actually the repeat sign. So you can have these in the middle of the piece, the repeat sign. Add those to your practice pile, and as always, have a great day.